What's up? Oops, there we go. Adjust. There we go. Hello, everyone. Whew. Another day. Hello, Kaiwan. Hello, Allison. How are y'all doing tonight? It is daylight savings time, so we've gone back an hour. I think it's the same in the States, right? I hope. Otherwise, I'm going to be on either an hour early for some of y'all. Or an hour later? Question mark? But I hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a pretty low-key one. I did. I mean, all of our phones go back an hour regardless. Like, they just do that. We only have like one actual clock in the house, so I did that last night before I went to bed. Except for Arizona. Interesting. Angel, you said, can we get this sad love rectangle over with so we can discuss the real topic at hand, which is Sam is gone. Oh man, I love, Angel, that you know how I set up my live streams, in the sense that like we save the big topic for last. Oh man. Yeah, we got to talk about a few things, obviously. And hey, Sandy. What's up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the General Hospital After Show. I am your host, Dion Gabriel, and boy, was it a tear-jerker week. Particularly for the Kelly Monaco / Sam McCall fans. Man, Sam is dead. And we'll be discussing everything about it, from the fallout, the performances of the actors, of course, and involved in the story so far, and the theories on whether or not Sam's death was the result of foul play or simply a random and unavoidable consequence of Sam's good deed. But before we do, other things happened in Port Charles beyond this as well. So I figure we jump into those things first, like you thought, Angel, before we start diving into the deep end. Sandy, you're still mourning for Sam. I think everybody is, whether you're a Sam fan or not. It's a character that's been on screen for the last, 21 years or something. So it's a heavy moment. Angel, you said, I hope Michael has a get back plan because him sleeping with Willow. I think you meant Sasha. Or yes, because him sleeping with Willow after just sleeping with Sasha, wasn't it? Yeah, we gonna talk about that. How many people are going to have to learn that doing something good might get you in trouble? And that's true. Sometimes it's like that. I feel like it's calmer for Jason and Sunny killing Jagger. Yeah. Yip. Or Karma, I think you meant. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the love rectangle too. But there's other things as well. So first up, we're going to talk about Heather Weber. As you guys are aware, Stephen Lars Weber returned to town at the request of Curtis Ashford to convince his mother to leave Port Charles. And surprisingly, he does convince her. But she did have one last request for her bestie Laura to see Ace one last time, and Laura abides. Kevin and Steve were there to supervise, of course, because Laura was holding vigil at the hospital for Lulu while she was in surgery. The scenes with Ace would have actually been very sweet if they weren't playing the eerie music while it was happening. And of course, just before she left, she whispered, "I'll be back." Man, like, this is why I get so annoyed with these writers. They can never seem to pick a lane and stick with it, especially when it comes to these questionable redemption arcs for the villains. Did the Cobalt level matter or not? Is Heather Weber evil or not? Is Heather still capable of murder or not? Time will tell, I guess, or maybe not. And maybe it won't. It's hard to say, honestly. I mean, honestly, it probably depends on what side of the bed Chris Van Etten is on, or, you know, who won the argument between him and Elizabeth Cordy. Either way, according to multiple sources, Ali Mills has made an exit from the show, for now. On a side note, though, Trina asked Portia if she had anything to do with Heather Weber leaving Port Charles, and of course, Portia denied it. Trina's just getting back in the swing of things in college, and we know she's getting a new love interest soon. My guess is it's this mysterious absent partner on whatever project she's working on in school that they're supposed to be working on together, but he hasn't made an appearance yet. She mentioned that in her conversation with Portia at Portia's office. Allison, you said that Heather is still nuts. Yes, I mean, she's very eccentric, and she always has been. Listen, I don't think it's hard to say. I think she's still a schemer, and I think that there's a part of her that has calmed down because of this Cobalt level thing, but as for what she's still capable of, who knows? She has been committing crimes for 40 years, and we don't know when this Cobalt poisoning actually happened. So we don't know where it began. Oh, man. But yeah, let's switch gears. Let's talk about Miss Holly Sutton, or Holly Scorpio, whatever she's going by these days. In a previous week, we had seen her meet up with Sonny Corinthos about moving her stolen diamonds to a safe place and giving him a cut of their value. But this was, of course, before Sonny knew how she obtained them in the first place. Jason filled him in, naturally. So when Holly showed back up at his office, thinking he was going to accept his offer, he pulled the rug from beneath her and said that he knew the truth, and that he is aware that Sidwell, the man she stole them from back in Africa, is on his way back to Port Charles to search for them, and he made his own offer for a bigger piece of the pie for her to take her leave, basically. Now, you guys know that Sonny and Jason aren't the only people she's causing problems for at this point in town. She's left an even bigger mess for Robert and Sasha to deal with in the reveal that they are, in fact, father and daughter, which unfortunately makes Sasha and Cody cousins. Allison, you said you like Michael and Sasha better than Michael and Willow. I don't like either of them. I'm gonna be real. You know what the common denominator is? It's Michael. I cannot stand the character. Therefore, all of his couples to me are just not great. Angel, you said that biatch Heather is still crazy. If Steven wasn't there, she would have kidnapped Ace. I don't know. I don't like whether it's true or not that she's still crazy. She is smart enough to know what she should and shouldn't do seconds after getting out of jail. So whatever happens, I don't think if Steven was there that she would have stolen Ace, because she wouldn't have left town if Steven wasn't there. He's the one that convinced her to leave. If anything, she'd be crashing at Elizabeth's house and waiting, basically, because she's broke, jobless, and has no income until Rick potentially gets her a payoff with the company that did her hip surgery. But all right. So back to Sasha and Cody, though. Sasha, she had to break the news to Cody, and boy, did he ever implode pretty damn quickly. He went to the Brown Dog Bar, I think that's what it's called, and got absolutely shit-faced. And since he obviously couldn't take out his anger and despair on Sasha or Holly, because Holly was nowhere to be found in that moment, he picked the closest target to him, Drew Quartermain. Drew Quartermain happened to be at the Brown Dog with Nina in a way to show the folks that could vote for him that he could be one of the average Joes and summit in a bar, not just another member of the 1% crowd. And Cody, he comes up to him while he's chatting up this local and punches him and, screams at him for making out with his nephew's wife and said it in a big crowded room. And if that in itself wasn't bad enough or good, depending on your perspective and how you view it, the secret PI that Ned hired to spy on him was also there, and she was filming this confrontation with her camera and caught that moment and brought it back to Ned with the video. Ned and Tracy put their heads together to figure out the best way to utilize the footage, and they had come to the conclusion that the best way to do so was to blackmail him into giving up the company and to get what they want done in Congress if he wins his election. And when he gets home, they put their plan into action. Drew was not having it, though, and put the kibosh on it by dropping the bombshell on Michael the second he entered the room. And by the way, in that episode, there was a Michael recast. I think someone mentioned that his father had passed away, and so that's why he wasn't available to shoot that day. I don't know if there's truth to that. Let me know in the chat if you guys know. Now, at that same time, Nina had already gone to Willow to warn her that everything was about to blow up and encouraged her to come clean before someone else lets Michael know. But Drew beat her to the punch by like a millisecond, and Michael stormed out. What are y'all saying in the chat, though? Allison, you said, I really don't like flaky weeping Willow. Kaiwan, you said, I hated it. I always wanted Willow to sleep and fight. Happened what? Sorry. Don't quite understand. Sandy said, now we need Michael to knock Drew out. Oh, man. Now, while all this was happening as well, by the way, Holly had tried once again to plead her case to Sasha, and Sasha was not having it and stormed out to have a drink at the Brown Dog, of course. It seems to be the new spot to drink, the new dive bar. Where is Julian's bar? I forget what it's called. Charlie's. What happened to the Charlie's set? We haven't seen it in a while, right? But anyway, that the Brown Dog is where Michael ended up too, and then I'm sure you can guess if you didn't already know, drunken sex in a hotel room happened after that. They got drunk, they went back to, I think, the Metro Court, and hooked up, and spent the night with each other. Nothing says sturdy marriage like finding out your wife kissed another man, and getting back at her by sleeping with her bestie. Lord, thank God they made I don't know, just thank God that they managed to make all of them look like garbage. Because God forbid they actually have Drew and Willow be held accountable for their actions. Without the hurt party doing something worse right after. Kaiwani said, I guess since Christina isn't working there, they are so... yeah, they don't really need it. But no one's working at Brown Dog either. Like, they can just use that set regardless. Oh, Allison, don't even speak that, because that was literally in my notes right here. Like, man. Yeah, I'm hoping that's not the case. But yeah. So, Michael, he actually hadn't learned the whole truth at that point. He only knew that they kissed once. But Sasha let it slip that they've kissed twice. Oops! And at the same time, Drew paid Willow a visit to convince her to not tell Michael about the second kiss because it would only hurt him more. And when Michael got back to the house, he gave her the opportunity to come clean about everything. And she didn't. However, since Michael is now keeping a pretty big secret of his own, which is arguably worse than what Willow did, he can't judge her too harshly. and agrees to try and work past this discretion, and they instantly have sex on their couch 2 seconds later. You know, and like you said, Allison, I have this empty pit feeling in my stomach that Sasha's gonna end up pregnant with Michael's kid, because no one knew about it. No one knew that they hooked up. But the surefire way for someone to find out is if she gets pregnant, because everyone knows that it's not Cody's kid. Cody's gonna know it's not his kid. Like, yikes. But yeah, that's the last thing I want. I swear. Anyone who ends up with Michael either dies or gets their character ruined. He's quite literally the cursed Quartermain. Swear to God. Oh, Lord. I'm not here for the possibility of Michael getting Sasha pregnant. I really don't want to see it. I don't want to see any babies born for a while. It feels like every year we have to watch someone go through 9 months of a pregnancy. We can have a year off, can't we? Allison, you saw that rumor on a morning podcast. I mean, it is a possibility. I think it's, to me it makes sense that that's a possibility. Oh my God, people are saying, what if Michael has hood twins? Oh, please, Lord, Angel, don't. My God, I do not want that to happen. I do not want that to happen. My God. Ugh. Gross. Allison, you said, I just want Sasha to be happy. Yeah, me too. I think they're trying to make it so she can be part of the family. I don't want... Listen, Sasha does not need to be a part of the Quartermain family. Being their cook is enough. Besides, like I said, Quartermain's a curse. They die quickly in that family. Michael left from sleeping with Sasha and right into Willow's bed or couch. Yeah. Nasty. Hopefully he at least showered. Good God. Also, as all this is going down as well, Drew confronted Cody and offered to pay him a sum of money for his silence because, he didn't want to ruin Willow and Michael's marriage more, supposedly. And Cody, while he was annoyed at being, bribed, did take 50 grand from him. I mean, he did ask for 100,000. I would have asked for the 6 million. If he wants to have his property on the barn so bad, this is the perfect opportunity. But, just, get your whatever, get your house, your horse sanctuary going. This is your perfect opportunity to do it. So that's what I would do in Cody's situation. Messy as it is. Also, Cody slept overnight at Mac's house after he got really shit-faced. Hey, Jacarius. But yeah, let's quickly cut back to Holly and Robert for a second. Holly pays Robert a visit, and he wanted an explanation for why she kept it a secret. And you know what her excuse was? She didn't want them having a child to ruin the magic of what made their relationship so special. That was the reason. If this isn't a lie, that's the dumbest excuse I've heard. Talk about a half-assed instant story that they seem to pull out of their hat out of nowhere. Really, I should have said pulled out of their ass. That's what it feels like. Alright. Anyway, though, there's one more thing that I have to mention before we get into the Sam stuff. Halloween. It was Halloween in Port Charles, as somber as it was. But we did get one really cool moment out of it. With Spinelli, Maxie, and the kids preparing for Halloween. Little Georgie, who's not so little anymore, was saying that she is too old for trick-or-treating. And yes, Sandy, you said Holly is full of shit. But yeah, Georgie felt that she's too old to trick-or-treat. she didn't want to dress up. And Maxine Spinelli encouraged her to dress up. And just to, you know, not stop being a kid. And like, Halloween is fun no matter what age you are. You know, I'm in my 30s. You saw me dressing up for Halloween. I love it. I love it. And, you know, at work, we got to hand out treats for kids as well. So, you know, it's cold at the end of October in Alberta. So where I work in a mall, all the stores and everything, they all hand out trick-or-treat candy from like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. for 3 hours. And we're all dressed up in our costumes and handing candy out. And it's a lot of fun. So, and I was off a little bit earlier, but I did get to do it for about an hour before heading home and then handing out more candy at home, which was really cool. But yeah, so anyway, they convinced Georgie to dress up. And the best part is that she dressed up as Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, which, if you didn't know, was the Disney Channel original movie franchise where Kirsten Storms herself, Maxie Jones, played Xenon. And of course, Maxie was clueless to who she was. But I love that little nugget for Kirsten fans. Oh man. Georgie Jr. looks... Yeah, I always say that too, Angel. Georgie, the little girl that plays Georgie looks so much like... I think her name was Lindsay. Lindsay Letterman? Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, like the actress that plays little Georgie looks so much like the actress that played Maxie's sister Georgie. It's crazy. It's like... She, like, the more she grows up, the more she looks like her too, which is wild. It is crazy to me. They could be mother and daughter, Georgie and Georgie. And yeah, like Halloween is supposed to be Maxie's birthday as well. But they didn't mention that. Who knows? And you know what the sad part is? Like, because we're about to get into Sam McCall anyway. Like, now Halloween is ruined for Danny and Scout for like the rest of their childhood, which is crazy, and probably the rest of their lives, honestly. Like, that's so sad. Angel, my supernova girl. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Make my heart go boom, boom. Yeah, I wasn't like a huge fan of the movies, but I did watch them all. And they're all on Disney Plus. So like, I did show my mom actually one of the Xenon movies, one of the later ones. I think probably the last one. Just because that's where she's most recognizable as Kirsten Storms, Maxie. Yeah, and Rocco really. Yeah, Rocco too. Dante as well. Like, it's just always going to be related to Sam. Danny and Scout have no mother. I'm pissed. Yeah. All right, so let's dive in, guys. We've avoided the topic enough, and now we got to talk about all the sad stuff. So the first thing I want to say is I think it's safe to say that one of the hardest parts about knowing Sam was going to die in advance was waiting for it to happen. You guys know that I don't really read spoilers, with the one exception being casting news. But what was different about this casting news is that every article announced that they would be killing the character as well. So, you know, I had to learn that as well. And we learned this, like a couple months ago now? And all of us were on here, and probably other live streams as well, speculating on how it would be done. At first, we thought she was going to drown trying to get the evidence to exonerate her mom. But once we figured out she did that unscathed, it became obvious that her death was going to have to do with Lulu's transplant. And then we get all these scenes that felt like final scenes with everybody. Kelly and Sam had close ties to. So like Maxie and Spinelli, Sunny and Carly, Dante and the kids, Alexis and her sisters. And then we get to see her get wheeled away into surgery while doing, you know, the love sign. And that felt like it would be her last scene, but I also felt like the next time we would see her, she would be dead. Like, it truly felt like that was the last time that we'd see her alive. But then, you know, the next week we see her wake up, a little groggy at first, but then, you know, awake and alert and bubbly and talking to Dante and giving him things to check on with the kids. And then he proposes to her. I want to say it was sweet, but honestly, knowing what was going to happen made it feel a little empty. And even if I was completely unaware that Sam was about to die, I think I would be thinking about how it seems like he proposed to her out of guilt for how much time he was spending with his ex-wife at her bedside. Even more so if I was aware that a Lulu recast was coming. So, I don't know. It felt bittersweet, and I get it kind of puts a bit more of an oomph to Sam dying instantly after. But yeah, even at that point though, like I figured after Dante proposed, that might be the moment she kills over. Or maybe she'll kill over as soon as he leaves. But then we see her share scenes with Alexis after that, where she's still awake and alert and bubbly, and there's no change whatsoever, and excitingly bragging about her engagement to her mom. And the next thing you know, just as Jason was bringing Danny and Scout to see Sam, Alexis is backing out of the room, panicking, while Elizabeth and Portia are running into the room. Jason sees what's going on and sends the kids to Bobby's. He knows something is wrong. Portia, Liz, and Lucas spent like half the episode trying to revive her until Lucas inevitably has to call her time of death. And they had to break the news to Alexis and Jason right after that. Let me read the chat. Let's see. Scroll up a little bit. Allison, poor Scout, her dad is a jerk. Sandy, you said I'm out of tissues. Kaiwan, you said, my thing was, why didn't they bring her to heaven like they did AJ or anybody else in the show? Sam doesn't get to go to heaven. Yeah, like, I actually said this on Tumblr, Kaiwan. I was like, what would have been a great send-off for Sam dying if they had to kill her? Bring her brother Danny and her daughter Lila into the room. We don't have to necessarily see their faces, kind of in the same way that we didn't see Edward and Alan and Lila's faces when AJ died or when Oscar died. It's like, I don't know. It was it just felt empty. And to kill a character off is one thing, but at least they could have given the fans something like that. I suppose it could still happen. Sometimes it's a few days after where we don't see like a ghostly situation. Maybe we'll see something like that during her funeral. I don't know. Jakari said, y'all killed off Sam for no reason. Honestly, if Kelly had to go, I would have been fine with a recast at this point. I know that Kelly Monaco is Sam McCall, but if she didn't want to be in the role, they could have kept the character around. And I feel like a Sam and Lulu and Dante triangle would have been like a good story. We'll talk about theories shortly on Sam's death too, by the way. But yeah, let's talk about the performances, because I think a lot of the cast is doing an incredible job. I did make a community post kind of giving my thoughts on the performances a little bit, but boy, first off, Nancy Lee Grahn killed those scenes at Sam's bedside as a mother going through all the stages of grief all in one sort of sitting, from denial where she demanded Portia get her a blanket because Sam was cold, to anger where she shouted that she hated God and asked why take her for her good deed, to sadness where she remembers the moments she first got to hold her when she was a baby. And it's funny, I don't remember Alexis ever discussing it, so it was nice to see her discuss it, just from a fan point of view. And then also acceptance, where she has to face the fact that her daughter is really gone and she now has to deal with the fallout of that. And then Jason goes in and truly brings his A game. Steve Burton brings his A game to the scenes. It's a rare thing where we get to see Jason actually show real raw emotions and tears and sadness. So when it happens, it's quite beautiful to see. And it's certainly, I feel like Steve has come a long way from previous years in terms of how he is when he's going through something devastating, because Jason's been through a lot, but I feel like, you know, back in the day when like there was always like mob violence and he's losing family members left, right, and center and all this stuff, like none of it was as good as what he did in that room this on Friday or Thursday or Friday, whenever that aired. Now, you know, it was really well done. It was really well scripted, and same with Nancy's. Hers was really well scripted as well. And plus, the fans got to experience a full-on montage with memories of Jason's relationship with Sam. You know, just their relationship over the years, and of course, they played Just You and Me through the montage, which of course they had to. There's a part of me that wished that they played the original, but I guess that it is a somber moment. The original Just You and Me is very like strictly acoustic guitar and some drums, whereas the newer version was like piano and lovely and peaceful. So it made sense. Allison, yeah, he still loves Sam. Well, yeah, he's always going to love Sam. It was Sam's choice to leave him, right? So it is devastating. Her not going to heaven still leaves the door for a recast, y'all. Aww. Oh, you're gonna look up a picture of her brother? Yeah, I don't know the brother's actor's name, but even he didn't have to necessarily show up. They could have, like, I feel like his vibe was like a ball cap, right? He'd always wear the ball cap, and then Lila, it could have just been a baby that he could have just been holding. So hard to say. And yeah, you guys agree that they should have had a reunion. Angel, you said it's bad enough we saw her lying there for 3 days on our time. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it was a long stretch of seeing Sam have to be so still. Oh, Silas Clay. Or do you mean Stephen Clay? That Naked Eyes song. Jakarius, you said you cried when they showed the J-Sam montage. Angel, you said the montage with Just You and Me broke me. We will never hear it again on the show. Aww. Yeah, I mean, I loved, you guys know I loved J-Sam back in the day, and I loved that song. I covered that song when I did that live concert live stream a few years ago. Like, I love that song. Always have, always will. Hey, Nathan. But yeah, we talked about Alexis. We talked about Jason. We have to talk about Dante. I felt so bad, y'all. Like, listen, this poor guy was out and about with Rocco, telling him he asked Sam that he asked Sam to marry her, dealing with Rocco's uncertainty about Dante moving on with Sam to marry her, wondering what about Mom. And when they get back to the hospital, they quite literally walk into Alexis raising hell about why her daughter is dead. Like, man, finding out that way, like, that's brutal. Like, for, like, that, you know, Rocco's just a kid still, and Dante, like, he just proposed to her. Like, he just. And then that's how he finds out. He wasn't able to, you know, get, like, sat down and eased into it. He just found out in, like, the worst way possible. And I will say, surprisingly, as much as I really was moved by Nancy's performance and Steve's performance, I think that Dominic and Finn, and for those that don't know, Finn is the name of the actor who plays Rocco, their performances actually moved me the most, surprisingly. Maybe it's because we haven't really gotten to see the character of Dante experience this kind of grief before. You know, a lot of the times he's been off screen or not really been given a point of view for a death that much. So it was nice to see him get some really heavy material and see Dante actually choking and crying. Like when he walked in the room and just like almost like choked through his words and say his goodbye to Sam. Like that was so, like, I just had to give Dominic, you know, an applause because, you know, I was truly moved, and that's actually where I got teary. I didn't cry during Nancy's and Steve's stuff, probably because it's just knowing that it was happening, and like all the controversy behind the scenes. We're gonna avoid all that for now. Again, I think until Kelly says something, there's no point in discussing it more. But yeah, like I think I was just, that was in my mind when Steve and Nancy were on, like throughout the time, just thinking about like, is she gonna say something, all this stuff. Whereas by the time we got to see Dante mourn for Sam, I was kind of like, you know, a bit more calm about it. Like, it's done, she's dead. Now let's like really focus it on like the plot. So that's why it kind of hit me a bit more with Dominic. And then with Rocco, this is a young actor who we really haven't seen a whole lot of. And we really got to see this guy cry and be riddled with guilt that Sam died to save his mom. And it was believable. I think that he did an incredible job. Like, this is just a little kid, and he killed it. Especially when Laura and Rocco had their scenes in the hospital chapel. So I just had to say bravo. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't quite feel the same way when Jason sat down with Danny and Scout to tell them, and they're Sam's kids. I think Steve did a great job at those scenes as well. And I just think that the actors playing those kids were maybe too young to grasp that this was something they'd have to act a little more than upset about. You know what I mean? You know, they're young. I'm not trying to bash them in any way, but it's just like, I think you stem from your experiences in life and bring that into your acting, and they're so young that they probably haven't experienced anything like this yet. It just kind of felt like someone told them that they'd have to stay home instead of going to the park. Then they've actually lost their mom. Like dead ass. That's just, it didn't. The kids being like bummed didn't really do anything for me. But Stevie B, as Bradford calls him, did a fantastic job in bringing enough emotions to the scenes to still make it pull on my heartstrings a little bit. Before he had broken the news to the kids, though, he had ran into Carly and told her what happened and asked her to go to the cues because Drew had to know, obviously. And Carly tells him, and Jason brings Scout so she could hug her dad. Again, another touching scene, and probably the only time we've seen Scout get any kind of comfort from Drew in ages, because he's been too busy playing politics and bouncing back and forth between a mother and daughter. So, to be a dad. And the moments where he's had to kind of deal with something Scout related, it felt like there was no conversation with Scout on whether things are okay or not. So Drew's got to step up as a father at some point. And it does make me wonder if Drew is going to drop out of the election because of this, because he can't just leave to Washington and just leave his daughter with Dante, you know? Let me see. Let me scroll up. What are you guys saying? And hey, Nathan, I don't remember if I said hi earlier, but hello. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you here. Jason is going to step up for Danny, but Dirty Drew won't do the same for Scout. Yeah, I'm worried about that too. I was just saying would be, did you notice that they gave her the same death as Epiphany, like a heart complication too? Do you think that's a call? I don't think so. Coretta, you said gotta give Callie Monaco her flowers for playing dead for 2 days straight while people were crying over her. I'm such a nitpicker. Like, I would notice, and it was making my mom mad too. I would notice every time Kelly would blink. It didn't happen that often. Like, she actually did a really good job overall. But every now and then you'd catch like a blinking moment, and it would take me out of it a little bit. But overall, she's played dead better than some of the other people we've seen die on the show, for sure. Allison, you said they were all really good. Yeah, overall they did really good. Nathan, you said that Dominic's performance was a little bit off. That's a fair assessment. I personally liked it, and I think it was more so the fact that we've not seen him have that kind of material, and I think that he did a decent job. And you know, I'm a Dante fan as well, so I do have some investment in the character, and seeing him go through heartbreak like that sucks. Oh, you think that's Steve Burton's version of saying goodbye to Kelly? Maybe. Bring his A game to their final scenes. Yeah, I felt that too. I think he must have grown on Young and the Restless as well. Because when he came back the first time, like in 2016, 2017, he was definitely improved and showed a lot more emotions than he did than his last go round in Port Charles at that point. Angel, you said, did anyone notice that Alexis felt type of way towards Laura at the hospital? Well, I think of course she did. Like, she's going to feel that sort of anger. Like, Sam died to save her daughter that's in a coma. Like, Alexis feels cheated out of a daughter just to try and save, another person's daughter who, in all accords, is just gonna, as far as they know, is going to spend the rest of her life in a bed anyway. Like, I can get Alexis's anger at that, especially losing her kid as a result. Like, her eyes moved 1 minute. Yeah. Tell Monica. I mean, we're not going to see Leslie Charleston. It'll be interesting to see how they kind of let her know. But I think, it's pretty obvious that Leslie Charleston is not in a position to really be on the show. There's pictures of her out and about, with, walking around in a walker. So she's not in good physical health, and, that's hard to do. I would, if they could get her to do a phone call again, that would be great, but we'll see. But yeah, and then so after all that, poor Alexis, she has to go between a bickering Molly and Christina to break the news to them, thankfully rendering them both speechless for that moment. But I don't have a whole lot to say about their reactions as of yet, as it kind of just happened at the end of Friday's episode. And they were mostly holding back tears and looking like they were in shock. So we didn't really see the full-on sort of the characters fully grasping the situation yet. And, hopefully this will be the thing that brings them together, because I think that this could drive Alexis to dive back in the bottle, and who could blame her? I hope that she doesn't, but maybe this will kind of get Christina and Molly to sort of rally together and put their differences aside to help their mother through this, and to be there for all of each other as a family. Like, the Sam was kind of the glue that held those three hot messes together. So now they have to figure out what they look like without her. Allison, you said, yeah, it sucks, especially when you think Lulu will be a vegetable forever. Yeah, like, I know that we know that she's been recast, but in the world of Port Charles, they are doing this surgery to just make sure she doesn't die. It's not going to change her, her being out of the coma. Although, like, something's going to. I wonder what that will be. Y'all know Jason doesn't show too much emotion, but Dylan McAvoy did. Dylan is more like Steve. Yeah, but I'm glad that they actually have Jason showing more emotion too, because it kind of, at some point, I feel like the older you get, the more sort of emotional you get over certain things. Like, I find myself crying far more now these days about some of the littlest things. Whereas, when I was younger, I would be like, bite my lip and keep my mouth shut and hold back the tears and whatever. Now it just kind of flows, and I'm okay with that. Sandy said, after dealing with that self-centered Christina, Alexis probably needs a drink. I mean, honestly, at this point, yeah. I'm surprised she didn't drink for that, but this could push her over the edge. Allison, you said, I would hope Christina could get her shit together. I hope that too. I was really hoping that during this freaking pregnancy storyline. And they had her be ridiculous. Sandy, Jason had real tears. He sure did. Allison, you said, poor Alexis, I wouldn't blame her for drinking. Yeah, me neither. I can't even imagine what it's like for a mother to have to bury their kid. A parent to have to bury their kid. Like, that's horrible. Now, the only thing that we really have left to talk about in regards to Sam's death, the only thing we know about it so far is that she essentially had a heart attack that was a result of an embolism, which is something that has been known to happen after even the most basic of surgeries. I think many of us probably thought like a machine was going to go faulty, just like it did for Lulu the other day, and Sam would randomly die without anyone noticing before it was too late. But Sam had a whole clean bill of health and passed the surgery with flying colors, even woke up, felt hype about her life. So, the question remains, is there foul play at play here? Do you guys think so? Like, do you guys have theories? Is this, like, did someone, we've talked about it on the streams before. Is Cyrus, like, maybe mercy killing and killed Sam to kind of have Dante and Lulu have them have a path to get back together? It's hard to say. Is this Sidwell's revenge? Did he know Sam's close ties to Jason? And this was his way of kind of getting the ball rolling? Who knows? But what do you guys think? Sandy, you said Cyrus. I think Cyrus is a possibility. Like, we did hear him saying that he's just given Lulu the ultimate gift, and whether that meant that he was going to turn her machines off or whether or not they were going to kill Sam, hard to say, but it's a possibility. There is an investigation going, that's what we know, to see what actually killed her. Nathan, you said, I've heard it has something to do with Alexis giving Sam some sort of candy that made Sam flatline. Or it could be something involving Isaiah. I hope it doesn't involve Isaiah because I like his potential and I don't want him to be a bad character. The actor is charismatic and I don't want him as a villain. And Lucky has been close to him as well for, like, presumably a long time and knows who he is. Angel said if anyone did anything to Sam, they did it between Sam being asleep still from surgery and Dante coming in. That's true. Allison, you said I thought it would be Cyrus. Kaiwan, you said maybe Ethan will be in trouble. Hard to say. I mean, yeah, we know that Sidwell is on his way to get vengeance on Holly because he knows that she stole the diamonds. So we'll see. But if anything, it's probably just going to usher her, Emma Samms, back to the UK where she lives. So she got the diamonds settled. She knows that Sasha doesn't want anything to do with her and that Robert was hurt. So she's just going to leave town like she always does. But yeah, time will tell, I guess. We shall see. But yeah, that's all the notes I really had on this past week's General Hospital. I think we're in for more sadness this week. I mean, we still got to see kind of the rest of the fallout from Christina and Molly finding out. We got the funeral to get through. We got Lulu, seeing if she pulls through. Laura did say that, Isaiah told Laura that he's cautiously optimistic. And because of that, Laura is cautiously optimistic as well. Angel said, or she just had a pulmonary embolism from a routine surgery. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it happens. To be honest, I think that is the case. But I think that there are fans. It just seems weird that they kind of started this mysterious storyline where equipment got rigged, and then they just not throw Sam's death into that in some way. But I honestly, Angel, I'm kind of where you are, in the sense that like I think it could just be like a routine surgery gone wrong with no one at fault. Nathan, you said Spinelli and Max are going to be devastated when they find out about Sam on Monday. Yeah, we got to see Jason telling Spinelli and Bradford in that tiny little preview from on the Next General Hospital segment. That even was like, oh, Bradford. Like, oh, it's so sad. And I can't wait to see Maxie's reaction as well. It's weird that she wasn't there in the scenes with Bradford. She didn't seem to be. So maybe, I hope they don't have her finding out off screen, because that'll be annoying. That's true, Kaiwan. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing Spinelli and Maxie find out. I hope Maxie finds out on screen. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else on the canvas currently that's going to be sad to find out. And I really can't. I do want to see Diane comforting Alexis, for sure. You know, that's her best friend, and Alexis has no one's shoulder to lean on right now. She has to be the strong one, and like, how can she be? I didn't mention Lucas's reaction to Sam's death. He tried like hell to save her, and was still fighting to save her long after she was dead. And they had to basically beg him to call it. That part was sad too, because like he feels like he's failed his sister. And of course, you know, Elizabeth is there trying to be like, this was not your fault. You did everything you possibly could. Don't put the blame on yourself for this. But you know, Lucas is going to feel guilt, just like Dante's going to feel guilt. He feels responsible for Sam, you know, choosing to help Lulu. Sunny did say that, no, this is just who Sam was. She saw a person in need. It could have been Lulu or someone else, and she would have done it. So, yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of guilt to go around, for sure. But yeah, that's really all my thoughts on the show. I don't have much to say. To be honest, I am debating. I know. I've said constantly on here whenever we talk about, you know, reactions on Wednesdays. A lot of you asked to do like Sam ones, and Jason and Sam ones, and all this stuff. But like, I think we'll probably look at some Sam clips on Wednesday, because why not? Like, this is the end of an era. Truly, Kaiwan, it's the end of an era for GH. So we'll watch some throwback Sam clips. It feels like we just did, because I know her 20th anniversary passed, and we did like a look back at Sam's character. But we might as well look back at some of the memories again, and we'll show obviously her bits of her relationship with Jason, but also just like some kick-ass Sam McCall moments on the show. Because Sam's done a lot with and without Jason, and we've seen her have some pretty badass moments over the years with or without him too. And that's the Sam I'm kind of mourning. That Sam has obviously been gone a long time on the show, but you know, that's the Sam that I hold dear to my heart, and that's the Sam I want to kind of showcase when I look for some clips over the next couple days to watch on Wednesday with y'all. And that can be our sort of mourning for Sam live stream, more so than this one. And then of course the following Sunday we'll do another General Hospital after show, of course. Angel, you said, I wonder if they show Sunny remembering Sam. Will they show him and Sam begging? Oh my god. I don't think so. I think that we'll see Sunny remembering that he and Sam did share a child almost, but you know, we'll see. Sam and Sunny weren't particularly close after that. You know, she's always had ties with him because of Jason and because of Dante, but you know, and Carly to an extent. But yeah, we shall see. We'll see what happens. We're gonna get more Sam flashbacks, I think, for the funeral. They got 21 years of material to use, so we'll see it. But on that note, I will end the live stream here. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you liked this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good night. Enjoy your week. Get your box of tissues for GH if you've already ran out of them from the last week. And, stay cool, guys. See you Wednesday.